Well, hello, Stampers, and happy Tuesday. Sorry for the slight delay, and if you heard awkward sounds in the background, I'm so sorry. So what happened, like technology is always throwing us curveballs, right? And so I hit the button to go live on YouTube as well, and what happened was, your session has expired, please log in to continue. So then I had to log into YouTube, and then it said, oh, you're successfully logged in, and then back to Minicam, and here we are. So today I have what looks like a super simple card using the Arctic Bears bundle, but there is a really cool little technique that we're going to do first. Okay, so we're going to play with shimmery cardstock, our white shimmery cardstock. There's 10 sheets in a pack, and it works great for watercoloring. And it's a lot cheaper than watercolor paper, and the shimmer comes through. So I am a big fan of this cardstock for this technique. Okay, so we're going to switch it over, and then you guys can see the stamp set and the card. Let's have a look-see. Okay, so here we have it. I'm just going to move things a little bit so that I'm in the picture, because oftentimes I am not. Okay, and it's nice to have it so that you can actually see me and see what I'm doing all at the same time. Lots of balls to keep up in the air, people, but I'm so happy to be here with you. So there's the card. I'm just going to look and see. I'm going to turn the sound off on my desktop, and I'm going to see if I can watch my live video at the same time and see the chat. Okay, so I'm not seeing anybody chatting yet, and I don't know if I can, but I'm going to keep an eye on things. I'm going to turn off the words. I don't want to see the caption. That drives me crazy. Okay, so if I look off to my right once in a while, it's because I want to see if anybody's commenting. But to tell you the honest truth, as much as I love doing a live video with this, my goal, my purpose is to really just show you how to make the card and not do a whole lot of, oh, hello, so-and-so, hello, so-and-so. But as always, I would love your feedback. I am leaning towards pre-recording the videos and then putting them up as a premiere, because I really like to personally chat with my viewers on YouTube. But I don't always want to do just what I want to do. I want to do what makes you guys happy. So here we go. This is the Arctic Bears stamp set, and it has some amazing dies. I keep my little bits and bobs in here, my extra snowflakes. So this one is the, this gives you the landscape, the snow, you know, the snowy, why can't I think of the words, like a snowbank or the horizon of snow. There's a big polar bear. Today we're going to use these icicles, so we'll keep that one. We're not using this. This is a really cool thing that gives an open, kind of like an ice flow effect. We're using this, the iceberg, today. It's more of an ice flow. What else? No, we're not using the little bear. And then there's also this polar bear, and I think this is the one we're going to use. This one reminds me of the stone carvings that you can get up north. Love them very much. Okay, so there's actually only one word stamped today. It's the only stamping that we're going to do. So I'm going to close this up. I have what I need. And the first thing we're going to do is play a little bit. We have a, well, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to do that later. We have a piece of shimmery white cardstock, and this is 1 5/8 by 4 inches, okay? We have a piece of blue pattern paper. This is from the Whimsy and Wonder, and it is 4 inches across by 4 1/4 inches long. And then I have a little piece of shimmery cardstock to play with, and we're going to make a white card base in a minute. I have this cut out already for the words, but I'm going to show you a trick with that too, so stick with me. Let's have a look-see. Here is my aqua painter, and you know what I did forget? Well, I didn't forget completely. I need a block, and we're going to grab some Coastal Cabana and Bermuda Bay, because I can't remember exactly what color I used in there. So we're going to go with both. And then you'll see a little bit of dark blue in there. We're going to grab some Misty Moonlight. I'm so happy that my ink pads are all within distance of where I sit, so I don't have to run away from them. Okay, so I'm taking my block, and I don't have small ones here, so I'm just going to take the end. I just need a little bit of Misty Moonlight. And then I'm going to take the Bermuda Bay and put a little bit over here on this side. And then Coastal Cabana, I will put on the little block. Okay, so those are my portable ink pads, so to speak. I'm going to close all my inks. You just pull on the front and flip over. Okay, our inks naturally store upside down so they don't dry out, which is a wonderful, and just make sure you snap it shut like that. I'll just put those to the side. Okay, so we're going to play first, and that will give me an idea to get the color that I want. Now, no two colors are going to be the same. No cards are going to be the same when you're doing watercoloring. Hello, Joanne. It's so nice to see you. So I have a new water pen here, or water painter, and there's a little thing here, and it even says push. I don't think, can you read that? Yeah, it says push. So that's how you get the water flowing. So you squeeze on that, and I'm just going to do it on my hand. There. So now I feel some water. The first thing you want to do is make your shimmer paper wet. Okay, that's super important. If you don't make your shimmery paper wet first, then the watercolor just kind of soaks in. So now I'm going to, and you know what, maybe I should zoom in. We'll do that so you can see a little bit better. Okay, we're going to zoom in a little bit. I had it zoomed out because I'm going to be using the mini stamp and cut and emboss machine. So here we go. Now you can see a little bit better. Okay, so this is the Coastal Cabana. And I'm just squeezing some water so that I get it nice and runny. And then we're going to add it to the shimmery white cardstock. And I'm still not sure if it's, oh yeah, there. Now we've got it wet enough. Maybe I'll go with 3 colors. And there. So I'm squeezing on a little bit of extra water. And now I'm going to do a little bit of Bermuda Bay. Yeah, that looks good. And then I'm going to clean off my brush, okay? Just a little bit. And now a little bit of, oops, let me get this into the picture. Here. Let's move you over here, block. You can still see. All right. And the reason I'm doing this first is, see, now I'm just adding a little bit of the blue. And I'm just going to, I want to get rid of the blue now. I just want some water. See how it's, oh, that's what I want. There. I want it to blend a little bit. My thing is curving a little. I don't like that, so that's why I've learned now something. I'm going to show you something on the actual piece. I'm just blotting this a little, and I'm going to add a little bit of Coastal Cabana. I don't know why I want to say it that way. Okay, now I'm just going to put that aside to let it dry. Now this was our play piece, okay? We'll see what it looks like later. But you see how it's just blending nicely? Get rid of that. There. Okay, now I have learned, did you see how the cardstock curled? I don't want it to curl. So on the back, I'm going to squeeze some water and I'm going to make the back wet as well. When both sides are wet, they won't curl up. So now I'm making the front wet. And now we're going to add. So both sides are wet and I'm hoping that will avoid the curve. So now I'm going to add some of this. There. I'm kind of happy. I'm using up most of my ink. See, and I'm not really, I'm just kind of, you can see how quickly I'm doing this. I'm not being really particular. Now, I'm going to add a little bit of water. Just, see, I squeezed a little, and that spreads that ink around even more, which is what I want. See? Now I'm getting that nice look. We're going to add a little bit of Bermuda. I'm not sure. There we go. There. And now a little bit of the Misty Moonlight. There. There. Okay, that looks pretty good. Squeezing a little water to spread it a little. And you see how this time my cardstock did not curl up? So by the trick of painting, putting a little bit of water on the back side, it's good. So now I'm going to move my pieces. This is my play piece, and it still has a bit of a curve. The other one does not. I want to put these in a safe place. Okay. Now I'm just going to take my Kleenex and soak up that extra a little bit. I want this to be fairly muted. I don't like this white corner. Okay, I'm going to put this aside, and hopefully I won't forget where I put it. Awesome. So I'm going to wipe off my block, and now we're going to make the card. And while we make the card, that piece is going to dry. You can use your heat tool, but that can dull the colors a little bit. So it's much nicer if you have the patience to let it dry. Now we're going to make the card base, and while I make this boring card base, I want you to go to the bottom right-hand corner of the video, and you'll see a red box. Click on it and hit subscribe. And if you like my videos, give me a thumbs up. Not because I need the reinforcement, although it is nice, just so that YouTube knows that you guys like me. Okay, it's just good for the algorithm. Okay, so I have a piece of 8.5 by 11 cardstock, and I am going to zoom back out. Let me have a look, see, so you guys can see the paper trimmer. So if you're new to card making, the paper trimmer is the most important tool. It has measurements at the top. It has measurements on the arm. So this is 8.5 by 11. So I'm going to go at halfway, 4 1/4, and this light gray handle thingy here, it scores. So it makes a deep groove in the cardstock. I go back and forth a few times, and that groove gives you the fold line. So now we're going to turn it 90 degrees, and we're going to go to 5 1/2. And that gives you, that's half of 11, so that gives you your card base. And then the dark blade cuts. And now we have 2 card bases. So I never ever cut my cardstock in half and then make a card. I always do 2 at a time. It's so nice to have a card base all ready to go. Okay, put my trimmer out of the way. So now we have our card base. And if you don't have a bone folder, no worries. Just use your block and go like so. Give it a nice firm crease. Now this is a bit wet. I don't like that idea. So what I'm going to do is flip this over. Now we just have a white base and it won't be wet. Okay, so we're going to take our 4" by 4 1/4 piece, and we're going to put it on the top of our cardstock. Isn't this pretty? This side is so lovely too. This is our Whimsy and Wonder paper. So even, let's say you wanted to go with a totally different card, you could take this and put it at the bottom. Now I would trim it down, of course, and then you could put this like so, put a piece of ribbon around it, and you'd have another gorgeous card. That's for another day. This is such beautiful paper, seriously. Okay, we're going to put a little bit of liquid adhesive on here. Okay, and here we go. And oh goodness, thanks Joanne. Hi Tamara, nice to see you. Sorry I'm so delayed in answering everybody. Yeah, so the wetting the back of the cardstock, the paper really did help to not make it flip. So when you put this on, make sure, see how now my trees are upside down? Make sure you've got it going the right way, okay? So here we go. There. Tamara, for those of you who don't know her, lives in Edmonton, Alberta, and Tamara is the one who inspired me to do the fundraiser. Tamara is one of the most encouraging people I know, and I'm so happy to have her in my life. So Tamara is also on the International Create With Us tutorial bundle with me, and yeah, so we make an amazing tutorial with talented people all around the world, and you can get it for free with a $60 purchase, or you can buy it for 20 bucks US, 25 Canadian. All right, here is the little mini die cutting machine. Now, I didn't think I needed this machine, but then I was told, you know, it's really handy for your videos. It's not as clunky, and I love it. But truth be told, I had some issues with it in class as well, where the thing just wasn't going through well. And guess what? There's a simple trick. So if you have this mini die cutting machine and it was driving you crazy, this is the trick. You put number 1 in, then you put number 2 in, and then the second number 2, where's the number? Here, you put it the other way. So that one's facing you. I have no idea why this works, but it does. So take a look. The first thing we're going to do, let me have a look, see, I have stuff everywhere, is I want to cut another one of these little labels. So we're going to open it up. It's exactly like the big one, but smaller. So I'm putting that in. Then you put your paper in and your die, and then the top layer. And I'm just going to pull it out a little bit. There. Shove it in. And then here we go. And see, it's not, oh, I didn't layer it perfectly, but it's still going. Okay. What's nice about this thing is that it's portable. So if you go and craft with friends, you can pick this thing up and it fits in your purse almost. Okay, so here it comes. Now I'm going to put this aside and we're going to use this as a template in the die cutting, in the Stamparatus. So I'm going to show you that in a minute. This die, this pretty die, comes from the Frosted Gingerbread bundle. Okay, just so you know. Sometimes when people use random dies on a card, you can spend so much time looking to see where it came from. Okay, so I have another piece of white, and what we're going to do is we're going to cut out the ice flow, the bear. Let me just see, I've got to do this right. I want to see if I can fit them all on. Oh, it just fits, just and barely. You know what, I might have to do this one this way. Yeah. This is like a puzzle. Good for your brain. I think that if you keep making cards well into your old age, you might avoid getting dementia because it keeps your brain sharp. Okay, so this one goes on top, and then you give it a little push, and then you start. There it goes. So I'm just going to crank that, and I'm doing all of them at once, which is quite handy. And normally, you know me, I'm a lazy teacher in the fact that I don't usually like to do my die cutting in my films. But now I did, and I'm super proud of myself. So take a look. You can see that there, let me just lay it like that. You can see the detail in there. So it embosses and it cuts. Then we have the bear, and see how nicely they come out. And again, the bear is cut and embossed. You could also do this with white velvet paper. And there's our beautiful icicle. And you see I didn't have to do any poking. All of the pieces just came out beautifully. All right, so now we have our pieces. I'm going to grab my Stamparatus. Here we go, Stamparatus to the rescue. If you don't have a Stamparatus yet, you want one, and the best way to get one is in your starter kit. So right now the starter kit is on sale for $100, and you get to pick out $165 worth of stuff. I did a video the other day on my parcels in the post, and you can get so much stuff. It worked out to $203, and you're getting it for $100. So pretty awesome. And you're thinking, well, wait a minute, $165? How did that turn into $203? Well, normally you would pay shipping and tax, and now you don't have to. So if you don't have a die cutting machine, this is the best way to get it. It's also a great way to get your basic tools. Okay, so you notice how I put that, oh, you know what, we're going to turn that around. When you use your Stamparatus, I was too busy telling you about the kit that I wasn't thinking about the trick. Okay, when you use your Stamparatus, you always want your stamping away from the hinge. So now we're going to put that die cut right back in the negative hole there. Now we're going to get our words, and we're going to lay them on there. There. That looks good. Close your Stamparatus. Now it sticks. Oh, and guess what? I made a mistake. When you use your rubber stamps, you don't need this black insert. So guess what? I'm going to take it all out. Put that away. I just throw things on my desk. You should see my desk. It gets worse and worse as the video goes on. Just a disaster. But that's okay. There. Back in there. That looks good. Now the last thing I do is I check to make sure that my words are straight on the grid. They look pretty straight to me. And the reason you do that is because sometimes your sticker isn't on perfectly straight. So then it looks straight, but it isn't. Okay? So we're going to do this. Put your stamp case underneath over here to keep everything nice and steady. And then I stamped it. You know what? I'm going to stamp it in Misty Moonlight. Where did I put that ink pad? Oh, I told you I throw everything away. Well, maybe it's going to be a different color. Oh, here it is. I found it. It's right behind me. Okay. So Misty Moonlight. Tap, tap, tap. And don't squish that ink pad down. You don't want ink everywhere. There's no need. Press it down, give it a nice little rub. And let's have a look. Oh, that looks nice. I think I'm going to leave it just like that. Well, maybe one more layer. So the Stamparatus leaves things exactly in the right place. So you can go again. There. Now it's nice and dark. Everyone can read it. Now I'm hoping that my card is now dry. So let's have a look-see. Here's the base. Well, you know what? While we're waiting for it to dry, we're going to give it just a few more seconds. It looks pretty good. It's a little damp, but it looks beautiful. I'm quite happy with the way the colors blended. Isn't that lovely? Put that there. We're going to start putting on our icicles, like so. Now, we need some liquid adhesive. I'm going to see if I have my silicone mat behind me. I do. Everything is at my fingertips. So, silicone mat, my sponges that were in a bag. My trick, Tamara, my trick for finding what a set a die comes from is to flip to the back of the catalog to see the pictures of the dies. Yes, that is true, Tamara. That does work really well. The other thing is, I don't know. Yes, they do. Take a look at this. This is even faster. You see that number on there? Maybe it's not focusing in very well. Anyway, there's a number on there. It says Stampin' Up! 156456. So you Google that and you put that in and it will tell you where the die is from. Yeah, but I don't know if it always does that. But I've done that when I've lost a die and I just have one laying around. So I'm taking my Tombow. I'm giving it a squeeze. There. And now we take our sponge, flatten it out. There. What this does is it prevents your glue from oozing. So now I'm laying my icicles and I just sponge on the adhesive. There we go. And now it can go on the top corner. There. And you know, a trick, when I first made this card, I wanted to incorporate our metallic paper. So if you look underneath, you can see maybe under the bear's feet, there's a little bit metallic. I didn't like the look of it at all, so I just covered it with white pieces and it totally transformed the card. So much nicer. Okay, so now I really do, we can stamp the birds and then I have to put that wet piece on. There's no way around it. Okay, so I'm gonna do tone on tone, I think, with the birds. And we're gonna use the Misty Moonlight. I'm gonna put them up here. Bird stamps are always wonderful. They add just a nice touch to so many scenes. I'm always happy when there's bird stamps included. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, this is still a little bit damp, but I have no patience and I don't want to heat it. So I'm going to just add some liquid adhesive. This is not normally the way you do it. You always put adhesive on your smaller piece, not on the card. But since I've been making cards for a long time, I kind of have a good eye for dimension. So I'm putting it here and then down. I'm leaving a 1/4 inch at the bottom and then just going like that. I just want to show you how the card goes together. So now I'm going to gently, well, you know what? We'll dab this a little bit with my, oh, it's not bad. It's not that wet anymore. I'm going to lay it on and then press down. There. Beautiful. Okay, so the iceberg is going to straddle those two layers. And what we're going to do is we're going to use some dimensionals to pop it up, okay? And I'm going to show you a little trick with dimensionals as well because I'm all out of the mini dimensionals. Now, who would have thought? We never used to have mini dimensionals and now I can't live without them. So this is going to go across there. Oh, I forgot to take a backing off. Then it doesn't stick. Okay. And now the bear. So the bear actually needs mini dimensionals, but I don't have any. So what am I going to do? Two things. I could use my little edge pieces or take a look at this frazzled piece. So you can buy our dimensionals also in sheets so that if you want to cut them out in a big shape, this said just want to say, and I didn't want to throw out these little bits. So now I'm going to grab some scissors and I'm going to cut that off And then I can use those little bits. See, I'm just going to cut that across. You know, crafters save everything because you never know when you could use it. So we'll take the backing off and it will be perfect on the back of my little bear. Here we go. I was putting my makeup on this morning and I kept hearing this noise. I thought I was losing my mind. It was kind of like a tap, tap, tap. And I checked to see if there was anything loose on my counter. There was nothing. I looked out the window to see if the neighbor was hammering or something. Turned my music up a little bit, only to find out I heard it again. And I thought, oh my goodness, it's the kids walking to school and they're bouncing a basketball. It's one of my least favorite sounds. I hate that sound so much. But anyway, just a little quirk about this squirrel. So you notice that I put the dimensionals just high, not on his legs. That's because the legs are going to go on the ice floe and the bear is going to go up there. So there we have it. Oh, and now all we have to do is put our words on. Isn't that nice? I just love this stamp set because it's not only good for Christmas cards, it's really good for sympathy cards. It's just great for reaching out and showing some love. And you know what? We all need that. We just do. So I honestly believe that we can change the world one card at a time. And today on my job list to do is to write a letter to the teachers and the healthcare workers because I'm going to hand out those kits. But someone sponsored a kit again earlier this week. So if you want to sponsor a kit, you could e-transfer me $30 and I will give a kit to a healthcare worker or a teacher. My brother-in-law is a principal of a school and he is so stressed out. There's so much extra work that has to be done and we just have no idea. So I'm still hoping that more sponsorships will trickle in. All right, there you have it, guys. Here are the cards. Here's the card for next week. Isn't that neat? That uses that die that I showed you before and we cut it up. And also, I now have a video tutorial. This was the card from last week. And then this is the card for the week after. So there's 5 altogether because there were 5 Tuesdays in November. I have 5 kits left as well if anybody wants a kit mailed to them. They're $25 mailed anywhere in Canada or free if you order the free? Did I say? No. $10. Sorry, because that covers my shipping. $10 if you order the bundle with me online. Okay? So that is it for today. I just want to thank you so much for joining me. Here, I'm doing that. Yeah, so I put this at the very end so that you guys know where to find me. I have heard from people, I don't know where to find you. Where do I get your tutorials? So you can get my tutorials on my blog, thepamperedstamper.com. If you go to the top, it says, I think, services, and then it says PDF tutorials, and then there's also parcels in the post and that kind of thing. So, thanks again. I hope you have a super day and happy stamping. Bye.